I love that this movie just takes a weird turn into thoughtful, like this huge propaganda thing where it shows kids like candies and slushies and video arcade consoles and Nintendo, and it's just like his sister died. He went mute after that. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Is that an act?
They need to have a couple moments of sadness to throw into the trailer.
Meanwhile, 6-year-old me just turning to my older sister and go, "When are we gonna get back to Excite Bike and Punch Out?"
Yes. It's like when are we gonna get to the video game challenge?
Move it!
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Coddington, my fellow co-host and filmmaker, John Woolscroft.
Yeah, I got definitely Ninja Gaiden, definitely 10,000 on Double Dragon. Yeah, definitely.
Wapner.
Yeah. No, Double Dare. Yeah.
Double Dare. Slime.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Well, this is going to be a fun episode. This is the last episode of Video Game Month. So if you've been following around with us for the past couple weeks, we have been tackling certain video game centric movies and Nightbreed. And this is our final entry into Video Game Month. John, are you excited to get into this movie?
I am, because this one's a little bit different. This is not a direct adaptation of a video game property or franchise. This is, whether Nintendo wants to admit it or not, a gigantic piece of Nintendo headquarters propaganda made into a movie where they said, let's rip off Rain Man, but undercut everything with Nintendo games.
That movie, of course, is The Wizard from 1989. And yeah, where do you start with this? I mean, John, you and I are products of this time period. I know I watched this movie a ton as a kid. It seemed to always be on in the early 90s. And then it became something of kind of like a mysterious film that you remember vaguely, but then would pop on every once in a while, like on TBS or TNT, usually on a Sunday. And you'd be like, oh, I haven't seen this movie in years.
Oh, when I was little, this would be even like a comfort rental for me.
Yep.
Like, it's just like you're not aware when you're between the ages of, say, like 4 and 9 that you're just being sold to. That's why I had Ninja Turtles blankets and action figures and stuff. Anything with Ninja Turtles on it, I wanted it because I wasn't aware that I was just being marketed and propagandized to. So when this movie, I'm like, wait, this movie has video games and Universal Studios and swimming pools and arcades and stuff and candy. This is the greatest movie of all time. And in my mind, I could go to like the championships and contend. I sucked. I was like, I got better when I got older, but as a little kid, I sucked. But in my brain, I'm like, yeah, if I could just get Nintendo Power and get all the strategy and call the 1-800 number my parents won't let me call, if I could be a contender.
All you needed, John, was the Power Glove.
It's so bad.
It's so bad.
And so is Lucas.
And so is Lucas. Yeah. Lucas is apparently the only character who has been able to master the Power Glove, because the Power Glove notoriously fucking sucks.
Oh, yeah, it is a notorious
yeah.
Almost every accessory that came with the Nintendo. And Brian,
except the zapper.
Yeah.
Zapper worked.
Yeah, Brian, you grew up like a Nintendo kid, right? Like since
I was a Nintendo kid up until I'd say 1993. And then I got a Sega Genesis. And then we were then we were a Sega household up until we got a PlayStation, which I think was roughly around like 98. So we were then a PlayStation household from then.
I guess I should have said, were you a video game kid? Yeah.
I mean, I was for a good while up until probably I got into film. Like when I got into the movie making and really got into that and caught the film bug, I don't know. I just didn't really have time for video games as much. Like that wasn't my focus.
Yeah, that's one of the rough things about growing up. But yeah, almost all the accessories: Rob the Robot, the Power Glove, the map.
Rob the Robot.
But Rob had that long 1,000 long stare that like a rapist has at the like drive, at the at the washer. It's just like just
All
not
that
blink.
thing did was like spin discs, right? Like that's all it did was
There's
like
only
it's
like
big.
two games that worked
There's
with
two
Rob.
games that
Yeah.
the thing did was like, oh, it's the future of video gaming. The robot plays with you. I'm like, no, it doesn't. It spins some fucking discs and that's it. I think Gyro something was one game it did where it had gyroscopes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
never had Rob. I had the Zapper because my dad at the time got like the Nintendo like package kit that you would get where it had like that cartridge that had Rad Racer, Mario, I think the track game was also there, and Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
So that was like the only game we had for a while.
Okay.
And it came with like the trackpad and the zapper and the regular remotes.
See, okay, you had a little bit more than I did because I think it was either Christmas '89 or '90. My sister and I, we got the Nintendo Entertainment System that had the Duck Hunt Super Mario Brothers like combo game, and
Ours was a 4 game. Ours was
okay.
4.
Yeah, ours it came with the zapper, and it was the only game my dad ever played because man, he was a crack shot at Duck Hunt. That was the only video game he ever played. But yeah, that was once I got Nintendo, I never looked back. And I do think that there's something interesting about this movie in terms of like great kid propaganda pre internet is that the whole idea is like your parents would never let you call the hotline, right? Like, but it's like, oh, but
fuck no.
it's like, oh, not only could I call the hotline, I could master these games, but maybe someday I could grow up to work at the hotline and play video games all day. And like, oh, all the answers to being the greatest video game player ever is in these Nintendo Power magazines my parents won't let me buy. And it's just like, it's all. And I remember one of the things I really liked about running this movie was that there was a commercial at the beginning of the tape for Universal Studios. I don't know if it was Florida or Hollywood, but I'm just like, my sister and I would look at each other and like, someday we're gonna ride the movies.
That was the thing that I don't think most people nowadays understand is that VHS tapes back in the day, they cost a lot. So the way that they kind of kept costs down was by front loading it with so many commercials. So like John, you mentioned Universal Studios at the beginning of The Wizard. I remember with the Batman tapes, you'd have, Taco Bell, Diet Coke.
Gotham Store, we're down to our last Diet Coke.
Yeah. The gentleman will be picking up.
Yeah.
It is a car you won't be able to miss.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's
the can had a little bat cape on it.
Yeah, it had a bat cape on it. Or like in Batman Returns, when that one came out, it was like Catwoman threw the can down and the batarang wrapped around it. So like the thing is that the reason why those commercials were there was because it kept the costs down. Like that's how we were able to have tapes that were $30.
Yeah, because
to
piggyback on that, it used to be that when VHS became a thing, or beta, before VHS won the war, was that most studios felt that if people could buy a movie, the way that they made money off of re-showing things was that occasionally there would be like the broadcast premiere of blah blah blah, but it was really re-releasing the movies, like releasing Star Wars, re-releasing Godfather, Wizard of Oz, what have you. And they thought, well, that's going to cut into our re-releasing movies by having somebody be able to own it. So the only way that they thought they could deal with that profit loss was to charge like $100 or more for a copy of a tape. So if you were even fortunate enough to have one or two movies, they better be like the household's two favorite films. It was Top Gun that actually was the first to have a commercial at the beginning. I believe it was for Pepsi. We had Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer chugging Pepsis on their planes,
playing with the boys.
Yeah, and they could charge $29.99 for it, and then everybody else took, that same course. And that's why if you go through any VHS after Top Gun, every single one of them has a commercial. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990 has that Pizza Hut commercial where the kids playing baseball. As we mentioned, the Diet Coke thing with Batman. Those are just two that automatically jump off the top of my head because I watched those a million times growing up.
Yeah. But getting back to the Wizard, so I did a little research in this film,
Sweet.
and apparently the director and writer of the movie were not contracted by Nintendo. They actually said that that Universal had at the time wanted to make a Karate Kid movie with Nintendo. And that they were not necessarily thinking about the movie Rain Man, even though you can watch this movie and there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, Kevin Arnold is Tom Cruise from from Rain Man.
I don't even call him Fred Savage, or his name in this movie is Corey. I'm like, no, that's Kevin Arnold.
Yeah.
Well, what's his playing the same character?
Wasn't his brother's name Corey in Boy Meets World?
Yes.
Which is kind of weird.
Yes. But the whole thing is that they are staunchly saying that this was not a Nintendo commercial. They had obviously worked with Nintendo. But it was not as much as like I almost think of we talked about Street Fighter and how Capcom was like in the shit with the whole production.
Yeah.
That apparently wasn't the case with this. Now I tend to disagree with some people on the internet who have said, I'm going to call this person out. I don't think they actually did a really good video. But a channel called Re-Res did a whole breakdown on what they call the lies and myths of the Wizard. And in that video, and I'm going to link it in the description, he goes on a very long tangent about how this is not a Nintendo commercial. It's really just a video game movie, and that we should stop saying that. I think he's wrong.
Well,
for a couple reasons.
Yeah.
But
if
please,
I could put my tinfoil hat on for a
put
second.
your tinfoil hat on, John, because I got mine already on. Theoretically, like it's already there.
Yeah, I've loved video games my whole life, and when I got older, reading books on the history of video games became a passion of mine. It became kind of a way of like educating myself while still having like all the member berries and getting the nostalgia in. And one thing I do know is that in 1988 there was a chip shortage, meaning that Nintendo could not release as many games as the demand called for. And wouldn't you know it, in 1988, when there was a chip shortage, which was also causing them to delay the North American release of Super Mario Brothers 3 until they had enough chips to meet the demand that was going to be there. There's a movie that's released about Nintendo to keep everything in the cultural zeitgeist while their parents aren't able to get them all the games because they're sold out at Target or Walmart or Kmart at the time. Like, so isn't it strange that in a time where they're in an accidental drop in sales that has nothing to do with them, that a movie comes out about how great Nintendo is to keep it in everybody's forefront of their minds?
That's a little convenient, John, isn't it? It's a little convenient. I didn't know any of that, by the way. I didn't know. My whole theories on this are that, because I come from a filmmaking, like knowing how the sausage is made thing. So I absolutely firmly believe that the director and writer did not go into this making a Nintendo commercial. And I believe that. And I also think it's a thing where they might have started out making this film trying to make it as generic as possible. And there's kind of hints at this. Like, they don't call out Nintendo Power Magazine, they call it Power Magazine, right? And they obviously don't know jack shit about how real kids who play real Nintendo actually interact with the games, because they seem to think that score in 1989 is still important. It isn't. So I think that there's a little bit of truth there, that maybe they weren't contracted by Nintendo to make a commercial. But you cannot tell me that Nintendo didn't see the dailies for this thing, didn't see that their video games are prominently being placed, that their hold on the video game industry at the time, which, let's be honest here, Nintendo was home video games. They were the Kleenex of gaming, okay?
Xerox.
Yeah, they were the Xerox. So you're going to tell me that when they see the dailies for this fucking movie, that they're not saying, yeah, you know what? I think you need to add in maybe a scene where Haley calls the Nintendo operations and gets that thing. Why? Because that was a real thing.
Mhm.
That was a real thing. There was a hotline that you could call and talk to someone who could help you through the game. So you're going to tell me that they're like, yeah, we just imagined that. No, you fucking put it in there because Nintendo said, hey, put this in there. Okay. You're featuring the Nintendo Entertainment System clearly in the scenes. Okay. You can clearly see it's there. Is it always on? No, that's a fuck up on their part. But when we are seeing video games in action, we are seeing Nintendo prominently there. When you are the Kleenex of video games, you don't have to shout it from the rooftops. You just don't.
Exactly. Yeah. And the thing is, Nintendo's never going to sign off on you saying Nintendo, Power Glove, Nintendo this,
Yeah.
Nintendo that, all 96 Nintendo games, which there were more than 96 at the time. In North America, at least there was more for the Famicom over in Japan. But anyways, sidebar. But there's no way that you can just use this brand name without Nintendo's permission.
I guess I just disagree with this YouTuber Rerez, who is very prominently saying like, hey, yeah, this is not a commercial. I don't think there has to be a backroom deal to make a commercial. This is a fucking commercial for Nintendo. And it absolutely hits on the beats of Rain Man. Now, John, why do you think, because I know you're in this agreement with me, why do you think this hits on some of the beats that you see in the movie Rain Man?
Well, see, because Rain Man is made for adults, and doesn't have to talk down to people. I do believe we get an actual diagnosis of Dustin Hoffman's character in that movie. This movie is very smart in that it never, ever gives any kind of official diagnosis of this kid whatsoever. They're just like, we'll have him be a little bit of everything and nothing, so that way nobody pickets the movie. And I'm like, part of me thinks kind of cowards, but also at the same time, I'm like, that's smart because
oh yeah. Well, let's be honest here, John. These are kids we're talking about here.
He has an issue.
He's traumatized. He's traumatized. That's what it is. The kid, Jimmy, is traumatized. He's dealing with PTSD, and his way of dealing with it is being kind of semi-catatonic, but not.
But isn't he supposed to be an idiot savant? Isn't that why?
No. I mean,
he's so good at every video game, though.
Yeah,
instantly?
I mean, they don't make him. I mean, it almost becomes a thing where like they're mixing things up. Like suddenly they're saying like, well, because of the fact that he is dealing with PTSD from watching his twin sister die, that he now magically has the power to do video games really well. It's never really explained. Yeah. But yes, they do kind of make him a savant. And that's where I'm saying like that's the Rain Man thing, because Rain Man is able to, win in
picks and then
Las Vegas. Yeah,
then go to Vegas. Yeah, so I think that their lawyers and PR people are like, never officially call it anything.
Yes.
It will get out of jail free card there. But yeah, the movie, revolves around a troubled little boy who is the half brother to Fred Savage and Christian Slater.
The family dynamics are fucking weird in this movie.
Yeah, it's kind of almost weird for how simplistic this movie is. So it's Christian Slater and Fred Savage are the sons of Beau Bridges, and there is the guardian of the little boy, is that their mom or not their mom?
So I gathered that Jimmy's mom was Beau Bridges' second wife.
Okay, yeah. So that's not Fred Savage and Christian Slater's mom.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Stepmom for a period of time.
Stepmom for a period of time, up until the point when Jimmy's sister, who is also Beau Bridges' kid, died, and then the whole family went to hell because that happens.
And then she divorced Beau Bridges and married Clark Griswold's work buddy.
Yes, who is the same guy in every fucking movie. He is just 80s douchebag.
The funny thing is, when I because when I say Clark Griswold's buddy, it's the friend at work of Clark's from
Yeah.
Christmas Vacation. And I remember when I was a little kid seeing that, I'm like, oh, is he the antagonist of this movie? Because I just assumed he was a bad guy. In
Well, yeah,
this movie,
he comes off that way.
yeah,
Yeah.
he has that level of like handsomeness that comes off as prick. It's the same thing for I can't remember his name, but the guy that plays Shooter McGavin in Happy Gilmore.
Ah, yes.
It's
Yes,
just like,
yes.
unfortunately, you're the handsome that makes you look like an asshole.
Let's be honest here. If you are a preppy douchebag in the 1980s, you are going to be pigeonholed as this guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. If you're clean cut, preppy guy, or I mean, honestly, like his name is the actor's name is Sam McMurray. If you're Sam McMurray and you're constantly getting roles as a yuppie, preppy guy in the 80s, you're the villain.
Yeah.
Like, that's just it. And honestly, like, he does a good job as a dick in this. First time we see him, what does he say? We can't deal with our son anymore, so let's just put him in a home.
Let's commit him. Yeah.
Let's commit him. We're looking at alternative places for him. And I'm just like, first of all, he's dealing with trauma. Okay? The kid is dealing with trauma. He's not being violent. The only thing he's doing is he's trying to go to California. Okay? That's it. He's just wandering.
And it's kind of strange that he has any say in it when this is
it's not his kid. I mean, it's not technically his kid.
It's not even his wife's kid.
No, it's his wife's kid. It is his wife's kid.
Oh, so that is her biological son?
Yes, that is her biological. This is one of the problems.
Oh my
this
god,
is what I
can't keep up. Yeah.
This is one of the problems, John. Yeah. This movie has so many weird fucking family dynamics that it's hard to be like, okay, who is who here? But yeah, so Jimmy is the son of Beau Bridges and
the second wife.
Who's
Christine. Not Fred Savage and Christian Slater's mom.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
See, I need Virginia Madsen at the beginning of this, like Dune.
Yes, you do need the time of video games, 1989. But yeah, so yeah, I really like find it disturbing that this guy Bateman is just like, we're gonna go and send him to a special school or home or basically the psych ward because of his issues. And I'm like, okay, I understand that mental health issues can be taxing on families. I totally understand that. But I'm also looking at it from the standpoint of he's not a danger to himself. He's not a danger to anyone in the family. He's not destroying property. He is not having delusions. All this kid is doing is he's not talking a whole ton. And on top of that, he is dealing with emotional trauma. Any person would say that that's going to require effort on the family's part, yes, but not something that I would say like, oh yes, send him to the mental hospital. Like, I don't know. I'm not a therapist and I'm not a professional in this, but it just seemed very much just like, oh, he's a little bit of an inconvenience, so yeah, I'll just send him away.
We need an excuse very quickly in this movie for, Fred Savage to be like, I'm gonna go and grab my brother like Tom Cruise does with, Dustin Hoffman's character, Ray, and just like take him out and we're gonna go to California. Which is weird because he figures that out by throwing a dart on a board, but that's exactly where the kid wants to go anyways. Very convenient.
That was God.
Yeah. Thanks God.
Thanks God. Yeah. So yeah, that's Jimmy. Fred Savage, yes, is playing Kevin Arnold. For those of us who are younger, you might not know who the fuck that is, but at the time that this movie came out, 1989, Fred Savage was literally the shit. Okay? This kid was at the top of the world when it comes to popularity because of a little show called The Wonder Years. Okay.
And there was this, and what was it, Little Monsters?
He did Little Monsters. He also had he was also in Princess Bride.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So but really 1989, oh, that was peak Fred Savage land right there.
Savage
peak
country.
savage, only to be eclipsed a couple years later by his younger brother. Because we all know the real talent is Ben Savage.
Corey Matthews. Yeah.
Corey Matthews.
I didn't know they were brothers when I was little.
I mean, how could you not know? The hair, man. The hair. I knew it. And how many other Savages do you know? There's only like 2.
I never paid attention to the actors' names on shows like that. I just was sitting there probably fucking around with Pogs, watching TGI Friday. And just like that show came out. I'm like, oh, hey, look, Boy Meets World is on.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Fred Savage plays his real name in the movie is Corey. And he lives with Christian Slater and his dad, Beau Bridges. And I gotta mention something. Beau Bridges is the most bumbling fucking dad in every movie. Like, in this movie, he's fucking goofy. He can't even make food. Like, he hasn't mastered making food at all.
Well, see, this is 1989. This is like Dan Quayle time, where the idea of like a single parent, you might as well just kill yourself because you can't raise a family. It's just one man or one woman.
How are you gonna raise 2 children? One of them is an older teen, and the other, it's what, maybe 13 years old, 12 years old?
Yeah, we got like a 13, like what's supposed to be a 16-year-old.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I have kids who are stepsons who are 13 and one is 17. At that age, you don't really have to do a whole ton. Like, they can do stuff on their own.
Yeah, more
often than not. So, like, Beau Bridges, his bumbling, like, I don't know how to make food. And it's a thing I see in almost every one of the roles that he's in. Like, do you remember the movie Sidekicks?
Oh, yeah.
Beau Bridges is the dad in that movie, too. And he's a bumbling fool then, too.
Well, let's be honest. Chuck Norris is the real dad in that movie.
Yeah, we all know that. We all know that.
You can climb the rope. Just keep going.
Joe Piscopo is the highlight of that fucking movie. It's the best fucking part.
I don't know why Piscopo didn't have more of a career. He's the highlight and everything.
Yes. But yeah, Beau Bridges is fucking terrible, and he kind of sucks at being a dad. And all it took for him to kind of be a dad is for his kid to run away.
Well, yeah. See, this isn't that long after Mr. Mom. Like, maybe between 3 to 5 years since Mr. Mom, somewhere in there.
A little bit more than that. Like, I think Mr. Mom came out in like 83, 84?
Okay, so a couple of years, but yeah, the whole idea, a man raising kids,
yeah,
like he's just gonna put like asbestos and chalk into a bowl and call it a casserole.
Yeah,
but yeah, as soon as they find out that Fred Savage has run off with his brother, and really, if this was not a kids movie, really in some unspeakably compromising situations that could have ended badly if this was an R-rated adult movie, but yeah.
We'll get to those because there are a lot. There are a lot.
But dad and older brother set out to find the kid, and we get the most sniveling private investigator I've ever seen. And this guy is giving too much effort for this movie.
He is this fucking guy. Okay, his name is Putnam in the movie. I have to go to camera 1 for this. Okay, so this fucking guy. Okay, the actor's name, I'm looking up on IMDb. His name is Will Seltzer. Okay, he's going by the name Putnam in this. This guy got the role of a child bounty hunter and said, you know what, guys? I'm going to take it to a fucking 11. Okay? He said, I'm going to be the creepiest fucking asshole in this whole movie. Everyone's going to hate me, and I'm totally going to be a lock for anytime someone needs a creepy fucking child bounty hunter in a movie.
He's in the,
and that's why he's not acting anything else.
Oh, Brian, he was in more American Graffiti, the sequel.
Oh, because we needed a sequel.
Yeah,
we needed a sequel. He was in Twin Peaks. Okay, good for him for one episode.
Yeah, he's the brother of the guy that runs the lodge. Okay, yeah. Yeah, weirdo character in that too. But yeah, he just leans into being the creepiest fucker ever, and I know I shouldn't get bogged down in the simplicities of such a moronic propaganda movie, but when he's up with his like, hey, don't you go looking for that kid. I don't make any money unless I find that kid, motherfucker, so don't fuck with me. Well, without the swearing. But like, I'm thinking maybe just mind your own business, and then they won't think that they have to try extra hard to beat you to find the kid. You
It's
know?
almost like he needed to have a mustache to twirl it as he is talking to Beau Bridges and Christian Slater says, "Don't get in the way of my money. That child's flesh is mine." It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Well, but then Christian Slater could have turned and went, "Dad, he kind of reminds me of Wario." And it was, "What's Wario? Educate yourself, Dad.
Educate
God.
yourself. I got one of Corey's video games.
Here,
You can
take
play
this Game
it."
Boy. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the future of gaming.
you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of if you took Dog the Bounty Hunter and just took all of the things that everyone loved about Dog the Bounty Hunter and just put it and just got rid of it. Like, what are you left with? Nerdy guy with a bolo tie.
Just bear maces kid.
Oh, you know that he was like, what if Haley didn't say he grabbed my breast, he totally was gonna bear mace that kid.
Oh yeah, we should mention.
We
Haley.
haven't gotten to that part yet. To the part yet.
So like, I feel the bit that the first maybe 15 minutes, I should say, after, not the first 15 minutes, but 15 minutes after Ben Savage. No. Yeah.
Fred Savage.
Fred Savage. Got the wrong Savage. Yeah, Fred Savage. I was like, my brain immediately knew that was wrong. Fred Savage takes his brother on the road, and they're like trying to avoid getting rained on and trying to find a place to camp out in the desert. I'm like, I'm thinking about Millhouse on The Simpsons. Like, when are they gonna get to the fireworks factory? Like, when are they gonna play Nintendo games?
By the way, those kids will be fucking dead.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. You are in the Utah desert. You've got no food.
We hear coyotes.
You're fucking dead. Like, I'm that's one problem I have with this movie is that the whole experience of the road trip, and this is not necessarily the movie's fault, it's just the movie of this time period, made you think that you could survive cross-country, adventures and not die as a child.
Well, also through the kindness of truck drivers, motorcycle drivers, and conning middle-aged businessmen in video games.
Yes, 100%. That's all you had to do. As long as you knew how to play video games, John, you could survive, right? Because you could just con people out of their money. And it wouldn't end up like, in the movie Kingpin, where you get your arm rammed through a bowling return and you lose a hand and you become Munson.
But I do love in this movie that wherever they go, like when they meet Haley, it's at a place where they're playing, Double Dragon, and that's where they try to con Haley out of her bus ticket. And then once Haley misses her bus, they go to a restaurant that has Nintendo built into the table, and then they go to a place where they find a couple men playing Nintendo on an arcade. In this universe, there are Nintendo games everywhere.
It reminds me of? It reminds me of Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. The beginning where everyone is just in New York is eating pizza.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, you would think in the beginning of that film that the entire city of New York, that there are no other restaurants, that there is no other food other than gigantic slices of pizza.
Well, Brian, that's the only thing there is in New York. It's just pizza.
It's just pizza.
Yeah.
There's no other.
You want a hoagie, a steak? Go fuck yourself.
No, go fuck yourself. Go to Philly. But it's weird that in this universe, Nintendo is everywhere and video games are everywhere and you can't escape it. I mean, Jesus Christ, you go to a porta potty, you're probably going to find a Game Boy attached to, the shitter.
Sorry, sir, your wife's been having some complications with labor. But there's a Super Mario Brothers game in the corner there.
We only got Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah.
3 hasn't come out yet because of the chip shortage.
Oh my God. Could you imagine if we got a first look at that game? Oh man, I couldn't. I'd shit. But
yeah. But yeah, they meet Haley, who I gotta mention for a moment. Haley's kind of problematic. Because Haley says that she has a father who is a truck driver. and that he left her to stay in one of his houses. Okay. I'm assuming Utah, because that's where they're from. And I don't think they got too far up until meeting her. I might be wrong, but she says like, oh yeah, my dad is a truck driver. He left me here and I'm just going to go travel with you guys to Los Angeles. And yeah, that's going to be cool. I don't think they're his dad. I don't think the dad's there. I mean, I think she's just a kid on the road. Like, I don't think it's there.
Well, I think Spanky should take her in.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not saying that maybe the dad didn't exist at one point. Like, I'm saying like in the universe of this movie, I think Haley's an orphan who's just living on the street.
That is depressing, but you're probably not wrong,
because we never see the dad. The only people that know Haley are people tangentially related to the truck driving thing.
Yeah.
And I go like, okay, maybe the house that she stays in Reno after they leave the hotel, maybe that was their old house, but the dad is recently dead.
Right, because she doesn't even want to go in it. Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't even want to go in it. And I'm just going, so the truck driver has two houses? He has one that's in Reno, that's your real house, and then another one that is wherever Fred Savage met you at. Like, it does, none of it makes any fucking sense. And that's the only thing that I can think of is I'm like, her dad is probably either he's abandoned her or he's fucking dead.
All right, so what about this? A little fan fiction. Yeah,
okay,
the dad maybe he's a truck driver, goes out for cigarettes, never comes home. The mom, who feels absolutely desperate, thinks that she has to support the family by getting into craps. And she ends up blowing the entire family fortune. Maybe she goes into the wrong back alley to suck a dick for extra craps money, ends up getting murdered because the guy wants her wallet on top of everything else. Now she has no parents and she just wandering the earth like Kane in Kung Fu, just looking to play video games and find cute boys who are in their wonder years.
Who are in their wonder years. I mean, I'll buy that for $1. Yeah, I just her character is kind of fucking weird. But she clearly is smarter than either Jimmy or Kevin Arnold. In that she's the one who comes up with the idea of going to Universal Studios and doing the video game challenge, because all Jimmy has to do is just win video game challenge and he won't be sent to a mental hospital, because that's, who sends a kid to the mental hospital if they're winning a video game challenge?
I mean, they're the coolest kid ever. So no,
I mean, you will be the coolest kid ever. Yeah. So outside of Haley's dad potentially being dead, and honestly, Haley being the one who kind of gets them to even go to do the video game challenge, while they're traveling, they encounter a lot of, really horrible situations. Almost right off the bat. Like, the first thing that happens is that they are robbed by old men who are driving them somewhere, because one of them spots that Haley has a handful of $1 bills.
Yeah, it's not like she has her dead father's life savings. It's like 83
Although
bucks.
she says $83, but like, clearly if you look at it, it's a collection of $1 bills.
Well, the production, nobody wanted to empty out their wallets for 20s and 50s for this production.
No, they did not.
But yeah, could you imagine? I mean, I don't know what the trucking situation. I mean, this is post Reagan busting all the unions up, but how bad of a situation you are in as a truck driver that you need to pull over your truck, and the kids that you didn't even see if they needed help, you just let them ride on the back of your truck, that you pull them out of the back of your truck and just like throw them down and steal their money and drive off.
You just steal their money and leave them for dead
in the hot desert sun. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like it's this whole series of events that happens to them on their way to Universal Studios in Hollywood is just a series of kind of unfortunate events that they keep running into, and things that I'm like, you would not survive this. Like, again, I go back to, none of these kids would survive this trek.
Well, and they like there's a bunch of older kids that I
Ah,
mean, we
yes.
might even call young adults that
I
they
would
end up
call them early 20s.
yeah, they end up grifting, and these young people in their 20s, or they're like Todd to Beavis and Butthead, just like track them down, and beat the crap out of them, and take their money back, and
Yeah.
it's really the scene is there so that the one goon can get the dad's like construction hat
Yes.
so that they can get a hot lead later in the movie. But I think the most important thing that they run by is after they grift those 20 some year olds is they meet Lucas.
Lucas.
Nobody
Now,
can
now,
beat Lucas.
now, we mentioned that Putnam, the nerdy dog, the bounty hunter for children, is the primary antagonist in this whole movie, right? But Lucas, he is the one who is coming after Jimmy.
He's like the antagonist of their own age.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, because it'd be
And
kind of weird if just the grown adult
right.
who's actively trying to kidnap you is just the main villain. I mean, he is the main villain, but like, you have to have someone that the kids can actually be on even stakes with.
And the actor who played Lucas as an adult remained an antagonist to children.
How so?
He's a convicted sex offender.
Oh shit! I did not know that.
If you click on this movie, if
Oh,
you click on the actor that played him, his IMDb photo is his mugshot.
are are you serious?
Yep. It's
Oh,
just
I don't
like
even see him on here. I don't even see him on here as
it's just
that.
like the
Like,
guy that
I think
played
they removed
Dotson
him.
in Jurassic Park,
That's,
who was also a convicted sex offender. But
oh,
yeah,
let me see here. Let me see here, Lucas. Where you at, Lucas?
does it come up with his
No, it's not his mugshot. No, John, you're wrong. It's not his mugshot. They just pulled like a clip from another movie and they put him there. His name is Jackie Vincent.
Jackie Vincent?
Jackie Vincent. Yeah, I didn't know he was a convicted
Well,
sex offender.
for all of our video
Oh, well,
people,
let me go to camera one here.
yeah,
There, camera two. There you go.
I believe he is a convicted, so I just assume that was
That was not
from
no
that.
no
Yeah.
one put him up on IMDb. They wouldn't put that up. That's I mean, IMDb kind of can be tacky sometimes, but not that tacky. Come on. He's no I love it how in IMDb they said he is known for The Wizard, Law and Order, and Breaking the Rules.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, clearly. Um yeah, no, Lucas is he kind of sucks in this movie. He's kind of the stereotypical 1980s douchebag blonde-haired kid. So, think
And
Johnny Lawrence.
it's so funny to think that like in 1989, if you were Lucas, like you were the coolest kid
Damn
ever in
right.
your town because you knew you had every Nintendo game, you were the best at every Nintendo game. But you know that like now, if this world existed, Lucas would be like a 45-year-old like tax attorney going, "Did you know that I was at the Nintendo Championships when I was a kid? And like I was the best and I had all the Nintendo games for the original NES." And they'd be like, "Yeah, Lucas, we know you mention it all the fucking time." Like, God, what a fucking loser. You
And I
know?
had the Power Glove and it was so bad.
No, he probably wears it around the office.
Oh my god. He does his tax stuff
Yeah.
wearing the Power Glove. And he probably makes the noises because here's the thing, the Power Glove doesn't make button pushing noises like the movie leads you to think it does. So he probably is doing beep boop boop, when he is doing his tax stuff. He's making the sounds.
It's like all the actors in Star Wars that can't help it when they have like one of the fake flashes go pew 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 pew.
Pew pew
Like,
pew
you got
pew.
to stop doing that, Ewan McGregor. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, Lucas is kind of terrible in this. He also is kind of one dimensional. He's just a one dimensional villain. Like I even use that term loosely because what is he? He's known Jimmy and the gang for like a day, and suddenly he's like, he's not a real wizard.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's strange because like Jimmy gets jealous, I guess, of his brother's relationship with
Haley.
Haley. Yeah, and like doesn't even face Lucas, and then Lucas right at the end goes, "Hey, right before you leave, I'm going to the challenge of the games too." So that later in this movie, close to the beginning of the or close to the end of the second act, I can by happenstance be in the same diner as the guy who beat up you know, Jimmy so that Christian Slater could talk his dad into going in and they could see the guy with the hat and go, "Hey, where'd you get that hat?" And he's like, "Ah, we beat up some kids." And oh, you fucker. And then Lucas can go, "Hey, I'm here too. I know where they're going." Thank God we were all here at this one exact moment for
See,
narrative's sake.
if they really wanted to make Lucas a dickbag, all they would have had to do is just have Lucas say, "I'll tell you where they're going for a price."
Yeah.
Like, how much money you got? Oh, I don't have any money. I spent all of it on repairing my busted up car because I decided that I was going to have the side plot of this movie be myself and Nerdy the bounty hunter in a
Wacky
weirdo.
shenanigans.
Wa-
It's wacky races.
I think I described it as like pulled from the plot of the movie It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World. Like it literally is one of those things where it's like either that or wacky races. Just well, we saw him in the thing. I'm going to go crash my car and do a demolition derby in the middle of town where there are no police officers to say, "Hey, please stop wrecking the cars in the middle of town. You're going to kill somebody."
Well, the fact that like both of them are just riding the highways and they both happen to at the same time need to stretch their legs, take a dumpski, and grab a
In
sandwich
the same
at
town.
the same diner. Yeah, all
Multiple
the time.
times. Multiple times they're in the same place. And it's just, well, Beau Bridges is going to do something crazy with his car and smash into it and probably bust up the car. And oh, what's that? Putnam's going to see the busted up car and call a tow truck to go ahead and turn it into drive it to a chop shop. Like, there's so many weird, bizarro shenanigan things that you would say, this doesn't fit this movie. Why is it here?
Because we need to cut away from the kids.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. We need to cut away from the kids. We need to cut away from the kids. And we've already seen too many times Beau Bridges obsessively playing Nintendo to the point where it's not healthy.
Yeah. And of course, yeah, it's like, oh, Nintendo. Oh, that's just for little kids. It's so stupid. But then I'm completely obsessed with it because Nintendo is the greatest thing of all time. Yet Nintendo had clearly had nothing to do
No.
with this whatsoever.
Well, you know what? I almost wonder because you remember how, like, when we were kids, you would always have your parents say, "Oh, you're spending too much time playing Nintendo or playing video games." I almost think that they thought that we acted like Beau Bridges' character when we were playing Nintendo. Which, let's be honest here. Yes, emotions got high, but I never, like, lost myself in the video game to the point where it's like, I need this. Like, if I don't have my fucking Nintendo, I'm going to lose my shit. Like, that's the way Beau Bridges acts in this movie when he's got the Nintendo, and it's Christian Slater who ends up being like, "Dad, you're fucking nuts."
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I remember from speaking of that, from Eagle Video, my
Yep.
dad rented me True Lies on Super Nintendo,
Hmm.
based off of the beloved Arnold Schwarzenegger, James Cameron flick.
Good movie.
And it was in the middle of like summertime, and I could hear my mom yelling at my dad because it was like a beautiful 81-degree day outside, no clouds in the sky. And she's like, "You rented him a video game when he should be outside playing," and I'm just pretending I'm not hearing it because I don't want to stop playing, even though the True Lies video game was terrible. Yeah. So
I
that
mean, most
rented 'em, yeah.
games based off of a movie were terrible. That's just how it went.
Almost all of them, except like Goldeneye. That's like
That's the only one.
exception to the rule.
Well, no, the Batman NES game was pretty damn good. Had nothing to do with Batman.
Occasionally it did, here and there.
Occasionally,
Yeah.
yes. Like I forgot that in the movie Batman from 1989 that there were jetpack monsters. I know that.
That's in the director's cut.
Of course.
No, that's in the Gruber's cut.
The Gruber cut. Giant fucking spiders and jetpack guys. Yeah. So outside of the goofy shenanigans between Beau Bridges and Putnam, our heroes do manage to make it to Reno, Nevada, because we got to have a sexy like montage sequence in some adjacent Las Vegas city, and Reno is it.
I wonder if they originally wanted Las Vegas, but they just realized that, like, we don't have the budget or time for this. But
Probably.
because here's weirdly a thing about this movie is that the producers, which I think unofficially one of them was Universal Studios, they
Yep.
wanted them to shoot every single thing that they came up with that was in the script. And the director at the time was like, "This is a kids movie. This thing's going to be like 3 hours long. What are you doing?"
Mhm.
And they said, "Shoot it anyways." And I think the original cut of the movie was like 2 hours and 48 minutes
Yeah.
long. And they had to leave like over over an hour of shit on the cutting room floor. And the director was like, "Why did we shoot most of this stuff in the first place? We knew it wasn't going to be in the movie." But so I think it was like, oh, well, maybe one of the people from Universal Studios has a buddy who has an investment in a casino in Reno, so we can also promote that while we're here, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. But this sequence is I'd say probably the most unrealistic thing within the movie itself. Like, don't get me wrong, like the whole idea of, okay, you're gonna go to a video game challenge and you're gonna play that. Okay, it's fine. Okay, yeah, you survived hitchhiking in the desert. Oh, okay, fine. In my head, I'm going, oh yeah, that's a possibility. But this
Suspension of
whole
disbelief, yeah.
this whole Reno sequence though. First of all, Haley's buddy, Spanky, who is played, you might not know this, John. I mean, you probably get this, but Spanky is played by he's played by the Chief Decker from Last Action Hero, Frank McRae.
Oh, shit! Now
Yeah,
that you say it, now I see it.
yeah. The minute I saw him, I'm like, is that the Chief from Last Action Hero who said Slater? Like, I'm like, yes, it is. And yeah, so Spanky, is apparently Haley's, friend or dad that doesn't exist or is dead, and manages to get $400 from playing craps,
Which Haley gives him $20 or something.
to $10.
$10,
Gives him
yeah.
$10. Which I'm like, okay, fine. But what kills me is she manages to, with that money, get a hotel in Reno, okay, like a high-end hotel with pool and everything, right? That has access to like a arcade and casino, all that shit. Okay, no questions asked. No one's saying where's your parents at. No one's asking for a fucking credit card. She gets all this shit, and she's clearly staying there for at least I'd say a week. Either half a week or full week, because she's in that time spending money on calling Nintendo directly. Kevin Arnold's got money for to walk around and
Bubble gum and soda.
get bubblegum and shit while wearing his 1980s black sunglasses that he then brings down over his eyes, because that's what everyone did. If you weren't cool if you didn't have your your black sunglasses that you brought down over the ridge of your nose. But they don't have enough money to be able to do what they're doing. And I'm going like, you're telling me no one is saying like, this 14-year-old girl has $400 to her name and she's able to get a high-end hotel with that?
It's because the kids don't know any better. It's like, it's kid rich. It's like,
I know it's kid rich, but real money rich to get a hotel that has a pool and everything.
But
you need more than that.
when you're like 6, you don't know that. I remember when I was a little kid, I was like maybe 10 years old. I think I had like $225 in my sock drawer. And for me, I was the richest person in the world. I never even wanted to spend it. I just wanted to look at it every once in a while.
Oh yeah,
Like,
no, I had that.
yeah,
That little envelope that was filled with like,
that was my
there's
fortune
like,
from
there's
birthdays
$200
and Christmases and yeah.
I've got $200. Like, yes, $200. But what gets me is like the rules of Kid Rich apparently extend to the hotel that she is staying at. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if the bellhop or the person at the front desk, the concierge, is also 12 or 13 years old, but that's what it seems like. But yeah, this leads into a montage where they're training, because you wouldn't have a 1980s movie, and this is 89, so it still falls within the bounds. of a training montage in which Jimmy has to master all, what is it, like 79 games?
That was all 97,
Oh,
and, like,
excuse me, 97
and the
games.
day before the competition, they've only managed 72, which is still a good feat.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jimmy has to master all like 97 fucking games and do that before the video game challenge.
But why does he, though?
He
Because
doesn't have to.
at the beginning of this movie, yeah, bef Fred Savage, like, basically throws his hands on the thing, like, of the arcade console for Double Dragon, goes, "Play." Like, he has no idea that, like, that the kid can't understand that, and
Right.
he ends up getting, like, a score that's you're not even possible to get that quickly in,
Yeah.
Double Dragon, so apparently he can just play any game and be the
I was going
master.
to say, like,
Yeah.
is it necessary that he has to master these games when quite literally, like, he touches a video game and just like in the movie Meteor Man, where that main character can just touch a book and know everything, he can just play the video game by just touching the console,
It's
like, and know
almost
it automatically.
it's almost like there was a company that wanted their 1-800 hotline in the video. Oh, but no, they had nothing to do with it.
No, they had nothing to do with it,
Had nothing
John.
to do
They had
with it.
nothing to do with nothing fucking to do with it. They didn't have anything to do with it. They had their hands completely off this movie
Yeah.
at all. That's hearsay, fake news. Okay. Nintendo had another. This whole movie was made by Sega. We all know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't see Lucas being like, "I heard my friend has a master system."
I heard my friend has a Master System. And what's the new game that's playing at the video game challenge? Sonic? What is the Sonic? Yeah. Yeah. So the Reno is also where Putnam nearly kidnaps Jimmy. And this leads into
I mean,
this,
can he isn't that his job?
well, I
to
mean,
kidnap?
it's his job. He's a
Sort of.
bounty hunter
Yeah.
for children.
Yeah.
But this leads into
So is Kevin
one of
Spacey.
well, yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. This leads into one of the weirdest fucking lines in this movie. And I think I actually called it in my notes because I actually do have notes for this one. I'm like, weirdest fucking line in the movie where Haley, who is a preteen, just yells in the middle of the casino, "He touched my breast."
And this is what I love about this scene.
Ah,
They don't call the police. They don't arrest this man. They just go, kick him out the door.
yes.
He's
They don't
a
do anything. They just kick him
pedophile.
out the door.
Just kick him out the door.
He's a fucking pedophile, and they're just like, well, we can't have that riffraff in the casino around children, so kick him out the door for him
Yeah.
to go to another casino.
Yeah, it's lobster tail
children.
night in the buffet. We can't have this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so fucking weird. And like in reality, if that happened, that guy would be fucking locked up.
Yeah.
Like immediately. There would not even be a question. He'd be detained, and then you'd have police come, and they would question him. But you'd be looking at days.
Yeah.
You would be looking at days of not getting out of jail, like and being in, or at least at minimum being questioned in a police station. It would not be instant, and it would not be you thrown out on the street.
But Brian,
So it's just so fucking weird.
but Brian, yakety schmackety bee.
I know.
Let's move on.
I know. Yakety schmackety bee.
Yeah.
So after yelling, "He touched my breast," they're able to get out of the high-rise hotel, and this is where we get this moment where I call this like the shit's getting real moment, okay? Because they end up going to Haley's house, which again, there's no one there.
It's a lot like Kenny's house on South Park.
Not like Kenny's house in South Park. If you know, you know. And there's no dad there. There's no nothing there. And sure enough, Haley didn't want them to know that no one's there and that this is her house. And Kevin Arnold gets kind of in a bit of a fight with Jimmy and opens up his little pail because the whole time they're in the movie, Jimmy's been carrying around this little yellow lunchbox that you're like, what the fuck is in that? Could be anything. Probably traveling supplies. No, it's filled with trinkets from his dead sister.
This movie
And this is where we get the movie explained to us why Jimmy is the way he is, and that he witnessed the death of his twin sister, and yeah, that it pretty much fucked him up, which understandable. Almost like maybe if stepdad and mom might have opened up the box, might have been able to understand what the
Or
fuck is going on.
or in the place that he's being held, do you think that maybe like some of the professionals there
They could have done
maybe
that
would have
too.
but I love that this movie just takes a weird turn into thoughtful. Like this huge propaganda thing where it shows kids like candies and slushies and video arcade consoles and Nintendo. And it's just like his sister died. He went mute after that. It's like, and she's like, yeah, my dad, I don't see him anymore. My mom left us because she was a gambling addict. And it's just like, whoa, wait a minute. This movie's trying to have heart all of a sudden.
They
You wait till
listen.
the end of the
They
second
need.
act.
They need to have a couple moments of sadness to throw into the trailer.
Or just some
Okay.
humanity where it's not just
They
like
have to have a couple moments, John, just a couple
Yeah.
for the voiceover of the movie trailer to say it's a story about heart. Like it's just for that line.
yeah.
You need to have one or two shots in there, and you're not going to get that from the yakety schmackety video game shit.
Meanwhile, 6-year-old me just turning to my older sister and go, when are we gonna get back to Excite Bike and
Yes.
Punch Out?
Yes. It's like when are we gonna get to the video game challenge?
Yeah.
Okay. But at this moment, Putnam is able to kidnap Jimmy. I'm gonna call it kidnapping because that's what it fucking is. I don't care if he's kidnapper for hire. But through the magic of Haley's trucking connections, she's able to get in touch with a bunch of truckers, and they end up stopping Putnam from taking Jimmy to his parents because of
It's
logic.
at least a setup and payoff,
Yeah, but it's one of those things where I go like, again, there's so many like things with Haley that you have to kind of like just take with like, oh, well, it's assumed that she has connections with every trucker on the West Coast. Okay. Okay, fine. But yeah, she's able to stop Putnam. The truckers beat the shit out of him because they again were told that, oh yeah, this is the guy who touched her breast. And he's beat up off screen.
which he would be like chain whipped.
Oh yeah, no, as truckers, they would do what Rutger Hauer did to the one woman in The Hitcher.
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm talking about.
We're not talking about like old school like Edison's goons who like
No.
wanted a patent so he'd have his boys go rough a guy up just a little bit.
No.
Sock him in the gut, maybe kick him in the ribs.
Look up the movie The Hitcher and especially the ending. You'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so they make it to Universal Studios Hollywood. And I was surprised with the fact that the video game challenge didn't have like a cost to enter. Like they're just like, oh, what's your name? Jimmy Woods. By the way, here's the thing. Go on in. No one's charging for this fucking thing. He just walks right in.
Well, meanwhile, I'm sure that there's a lot of paperwork that you had to submit to enter, had to clear a lot of like legality things and all that, but that's not fun for kids. No, you just show up and walk in and play video games. Yeah.
That's it. And it's not even like you like had to win a quarterfinal or anything like that to get into the video game challenge. You just had to show up and say, I want to play video games. That's it.
Now, the funny thing is, this is based on a real competition, but this is Hollywood, baby. So they make it look like so glamorous and over the top. It probably was, and I don't know if it was 87 or 88, but I'm sure it was just a bunch of kids like in a warehouse in front of a bunch of catheter tube TVs and Nintendos. Probably didn't have air conditioning. Yeah. And it was just because there is a coveted game. And there's a lot of mock-ups of it that aren't the real thing. So you might find it, but it's the gold game that is given either for the 87 or 88 World Championships. That if you ever find that out in the wild, even if it's like $10, maybe grandma doesn't know what she has, I would buy it and then take it to a certified expert, see if it's a knockoff or if it's a real thing. Because if it's a real thing, the gold first and second place console game of the championship thing for that is worth thousands upon thousands of dollars. It's one of the most coveted original Nintendo games you can find.
I think one is. I heard it was like worth at least $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
one was worth. It was worth $1 million.
Well,
Last time I remember.
as a sidebar, you ever end up watching clips from a show that you never would watch in your life on social media, but it's like there's something like that they're talking about that piques your interest?
Yes.
I got sucked into what is that show where the auction place in Vegas?
Oh, Pawn Stars.
Pawn Stars, yeah. And
Yeah, I hate that show.
because they know like my algorithms, that anytime they talk about a wrestling or video game thing or a movie thing, I'd be like, oh, I want to check it out.
Yeah.
Somebody brought in a Super Mario Brothers mint condition plastic wrap, and it had that certification plastic thing over it. It said like a 9.8 out of 10, mint condition. And the guy on it, I thought he was crazy, wanted $1 million for the cartridge. And of course, the one main guy, he's like, best I could do is 10 grand.
No, best that guy ever does is $10.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how I'm gonna sell it. Like, yeah, I could buy it. It's like, dude, that's your job.
But
your job is to fucking sell the thing.
The guy didn't get a deal, but I checked the comments, and apparently somebody had bought it for around $1 million, and then they went to auction and sold it for like 2.3 million. So somebody bought it for $1 million and then made $1.3 million off of it. And I'm like, God damn.
That is fucking insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's crazy. But at this video game challenge, we have, I would say, the host of the challenge is someone who is on all of the speed. Like, John, did you think that this guy was like on all the drugs?
He's the Carnival Barker meets Zardo from Alone in the Dark.
Sound like it's
no Mr. Action on the dock. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he just looks like
the dark. Yeah.
Yeah. He just looks like he like took 5 bumps before going on stage. He's like, what's my job today? Oh, I've got to be the ringmaster for this video game challenge shit. How much you pay me? $500? Okay. I got to do at least 3 bumps to get onto this thing because he is amped as fuck. Like, he's like, and here we have the video game challenge. Who are going to win 50,000 smackaroos? Like, I'm not exaggerating. That is this guy to a T.
He's the host of the most, babe. Yeah.
He is the host of the most, babe.
But I do love that it gets down to, well, wait, I can't ignore Tobey Maguire's on-screen introduction.
Oh, yeah, he pops in there for half a second.
Yeah. Yeah, for like just a second where Lucas is all pissed because like, yeah, our hero is getting close to the end. And he doesn't have a line. But
he's just there. He's a goon.
Toby.
He's a goon.
He's one of Lucas's goons. Yeah, he's like
Biff Tannen. He's like Biff Tannen. Like, he had goons. Like, especially the guy with the 3D glasses. That's Toby in this. He's one of the goons.
89 was a busy time for like introduction because Elijah Wood was introduced. And speaking of, and Back to the Future too. Yeah, that's like a baby's toy. But but after that, like the big finale of this thing. And again, Nintendo had nothing to do with this, was the introduction to North America to Super Mario Brothers 3. Try not to piss and shit yourself. Don't let your head explode. It's the greatest thing since Christ and bread. It's Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah, the way that they present Super Mario Brothers 3, like I almost want like one of my stepsons to watch this movie. Because like they play video games all the time. Like, they play them on their phone, they play them on their consoles and shit. And I just would wonder like what their reaction would be to seeing the unveiling of a 2D, what would you say, 8-bit side scroller about an Italian plumber, and this is the third go around with him. Like, what their reaction would be, because there is no way that they would have that reaction now. Like, it's insane. But back then, we have been promised Mario Brothers 3 for years.
Yeah.
And so to see it finally revealed, it's like, holy shit.
Well, I consider this the second Mario Brothers game because I'm sorry, a ripoff of Doki Doki Panic with a new skin to make it Super Mario Brothers 2. Well, Super Mario Brothers 2 is just Doki Doki Panic, and they just changed it to Mario Brothers characters.
Oh,
That's why Super Mario Brothers 2 just seems so out of place.
it's a weird game.
Yeah.
Like I never liked it. I played 3, but I never really liked 2. I was like, that's
3 is
kinda
on
weird.
my Mount Rushmore of video games. You
It's
know,
great. It's actually a pretty decent game. It's a good game.
I play it at
Um,
least once a year. Yeah.
yeah. But yes, it's a game that no one has ever played. It's important to bring this up.
Don't tell that to Haley.
I'm glad you caught it because I didn't catch it until I was like, wait a minute. How the fuck does Haley know everything about this fucking game? Like how the fuck? Because Haley is screaming at Jimmy while Jimmy is playing this game. Again, this is a game that no one has ever played before. These 3 people playing this game are the first people playing it in public.
Our
Okay?
hero, Lucas, and the other person.
The other
We needed a third
girl.
person. Yeah.
We need a third person. Other girl. Okay.
Yeah.
So no one's ever played this game, but Haley apparently is a psychic because she knows 100% all of the little areas within the game. She knows that the magic flute will lead to a warp zone. She knows that you have to get the star, even though the star really doesn't do jack shit for you. At the end
No,
of the
it just gets Mario like high on ecstasy.
Yeah,
And he starts,
yeah,
like,
that's
punching through walls.
yeah. Yeah, that's it. But anyway, like she knows all these things. So how does that work? Like, how does she know? The only thing I could guess is might be in universe. Okay, she spent a lot of time talking to Nintendo.
Lot
Lot of time.
Guys slipped a couple beans.
Yeah. Maybe there was a scene that was filmed in which the Nintendo guy on the phone with her, who's been on the phone with her for like 24 hours straight, got punch drunk and accidentally said, "Oh yeah, you in Mario, you have to go ahead and grab the magic flute." And he really meant Mario. He was saying Mario 3, but actually was trying to say it for Mario. You know, like that's the only thing I can think of is Haley was on the phone with Nintendo for that whole montage.
Which,
Yeah.
okay. I'm going to get super unnecessarily
Uh-oh.
dorky and nerdy here.
Get nerdy.
The whole point of this contest is who can get the most points in Super Mario Brothers 3. The more you use warp whistles, the more you avoid levels that are going to give you points. In fact, if you know how to get to one warp whistle to another, you can go from like World 1 completely unprepared to World 8. You actually need to play every level in Mario in order to get all the power-ups, get all of the extra lives from all the coins you collect. If you go from like World 1, where if you fly in one of the castles to get the first warp whistle and go to World 6 and then get that warp whistle and go to World 8, you're going to be completely not only unprepared, you're not going to win, but you're also not going to have any points worth of shit because you just jumped to the end. So the idea of Jimmy using warp whistles, he's not going to beat Lucas. So he's fucked anyways. And this has been John has played this game too many times and is getting bogged down in the stupid details.
For our 5 audience members who also are equally nerdy, they appreciate it.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
I just know for me it makes no fucking sense. And I will be completely honest with everyone who is listening and watching this podcast. I never gave 2 shits about what my score was in any of these games.
That's a bygone.
Never gave 2 shits.
That's a bygone of the old arcade days, you know.
Yeah, I know it's a bygone, the old arcade days. Jesus. But like, if you talk to anyone else who, you know, never played the arcade games and maybe was just kind of introduced to video games at the home, you never cared. Like you just wanted to get through the level. Like I played Mario just to get through the level. I just wanted to get through the levels. I played Sonic the Hedgehog to get through the levels. The whole goal was not, I need to get the highest score. It was, I just want to finish the game. Like I want to complete the game. That's it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you my score in Super Mario Brothers 3 once. I've never written it down. I've never been proud of it.
Yeah. So what that tells me is that this movie was written and directed by people who never talked to anyone who actually played a real video game at home in 1989. Because if they did, they would find that no kid gave two shits about their fucking score.
Yeah, it is kind of astonishing considering that this entire movie is based around video games, that they didn't seem to have any single experts
No.
involved on set to like be, because I believe it was like Roger Ebert. I saw a video on this where he claimed that like he's like, I knew nothing about video games, but I knew that the level that Beau Bridges was playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on would not be a level that he had played all night to get to. And he's like, if I know nothing about video games, what do you think the kids watching this are going to think?
That's true.
Yeah.
It's very true. I mean, I get that you don't necessarily need to have a director or writer who knows every in and out of video games. I don't expect that. But I do expect that, like, maybe you did a little bit of research. Maybe you bought a Nintendo, borrowed one, and played a video game or two, just so you know what you're getting into with this movie. Because it feels to me like no one ever fucking did that.
No.
But Jimmy does win the match. Yay, we kind of saw that one coming. And if this movie was a complete cash grab for Nintendo, it would have stopped right there. But because this movie has a little tiny bit of heart, the real ending is when our heroes are finally taking the truck ride back to Utah, which I call that truck ride back to hell. No offense to our Utah fans. But I'm a Pittsburgh person. That's how it is. But they immediately are hearing Jimmy kind of say, California, California. And it's like, dude, what the hell is it? We are in California. Why are you suddenly saying it? And it's because he sees the monuments from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And I'm talking about the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Okay. And it turns out California for Jimmy is the dinosaur monuments, because that was where his family, including his dead sister, were happiest and had like a family vacation there. So he wanted to, his whole goal wasn't even fucking about the video games. It was, he wanted to lay his dead sister's things inside the fucking dinosaur.
Ain't it sweet and depressing as fuck at the same time?
Yeah.
Let's
Apparently the
shoehorn
original script had him throwing get this. I got this because I watched the video on from that channel. I'm gonna link it, but the Re-Res channel on the lies and myths of the Wizard. The original script apparently had it where Jimmy was gonna throw, and sounds really bad. He was gonna throw the lunchbox into a river while they are driving. Which,
okay.
When you realize that the sister died in a river, that feels really inappropriate.
I guess I can kind of see. I agree with you. But I
can't.
can kind of see what they're trying.
That's horrible.
To do there. Yeah.
That's fucking horrible. So that the director and writer did change up that, because they were like, this is really bad. This is not good.
See, I wish that little Jimmy had gone into like the dinosaur, and then there had been like a small man with a mushroom head on and said, "Sorry, Jimmy, your sister's in another dinosaur."
That's horrible. If this was a true Nintendo commercial, you would have seen that. Oh my God, you're going to hell. But I did find that, like, the fact that someone wrote in the script, yes, Jimmy's sister died in a river, so let's have him throw his little pale lunchbox thing into a river. that's the symbolism we're gonna go with, yeah, I'm glad they changed it.
Yeah.
I am, because that, yeah. But yeah, that's the end of The Wizard. It's a shitty film. Like, it's nostalgia bait. But it's a shitty film. I do have reviews, though.
Oh, thank God.
Okay.
I'm very excited
Okay.
to
I
see the
found some really good
vitriol
reviews
that the internet
Okay.
brings here.
Yeah. So, for those of you not familiar, this is review time. I've pulled 4 reviews from Letterboxd. John has not seen these. He does not know what they are. You ready, John?
Let's do it.
All right. Review number 1 is Jimmy said 19 words the whole movie, 7 of them being California.
Dude, when you got a catchphrase, you don't need anything else. Like Larry the Cable Guy, get her done.
Yeah.
That's all he needs to
No,
say.
but I think the thing is like, that's the way Jimmy says California. California.
So is there something that is diagnosable about this young actor, or is he just that good at performing somebody that, has an issue? Because
I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I think he's just that good. I mean,
he's a very good young actor. Okay.
yeah, he's just a very good young actor. I mean, the thing is this, grief manifests in different ways for different people. And I totally believe within the grounds of this movie that, what Jimmy is going through is basically shock and trauma and PTSD, and the way that he is coping with it is in this sort of lackadaisical type of attitude where his goal is just to, obsess over his lunchbox filled with his dead sister's stuff, and his goal of trying to return it to a point where he was happy. That's how, in his mind, he's logicalized it. Okay. I buy it. What I don't quite get is, and we mentioned this before, why that suddenly means he's also a savant when it comes to video games. That the two don't work.
Yeah.
You know what
No,
I mean?
not at all. It almost seems like if somebody walked in and they pitched this movie, had nothing to do with video games whatsoever, and then they get done pitching it and somebody goes, perfect. The only thing it's missing, Nintendo. What? Yeah. Can you litter this movie with Nintendo?
Can you just like throw Nintendo everywhere in this thing? Like, we'll give you all the games. Like, you just throw them everywhere. No
The
worries.
trainer's like, oh shit, I get a bunch of games. All right, yeah,
yeah, we're gonna want them
this.
back. We're gonna want them back. But yeah, I mean, the California thing, it's a fucking meme. That's a meme at this point. All right, let's go to review number 2. No one has ever cared about their Double Dragon score. Damn fucking right.
Yeah.
Never gave a shit.
The only game that I can think of that anybody really cared about their score is Tetris. That's the only game.
Oh yeah, no, it's designed for that. Like, that's the thing. And even though, like, I think Tetris had levels.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it had levels. So like, you understood that one. But like every other video game, I never cared about it. Even like when I had a Genesis and I had Sonic, like, it was with Sonic, you had to collect the rings, which the rings were a placeholder for the coins. But even with that,
how dare you?
yeah, I fucking like the rings. But even with that, as long as I had one ring, I was happy, because that was the one ring that kept you alive.
Yeah, then you wouldn't die. Yeah.
And it's like, all I need is one. I don't give a shit about the score. I just need one ring for the next time I get hit by a spiky block or some shit like that. That's it. So, like, again, any kid growing up in the 80s and 90s who played video games, you never gave a shit really about the score. You cared about, you got through this level. How fast? Like, that it was more like the speed in which you got through the levels rather than the score.
Yeah, or even like if you managed to beat Ninja Gaiden, excuse me, like which I've never done. My one buddy Brian Takish, who I grew up with, he would fly into Pittsburgh because we live 2 hours up north from Pittsburgh, and like the day before I'd drive him up to his folks' place, we would just have a couple of brewskis and play old school video games. And he and I got to the second to last level on Ninja Gaiden, and we saw that as beating the game because that game is undefeatable.
Yeah.
And the fact that we got that far, I what was my score? Fuck if I know.
You don't fucking know.
I almost beat the thing. That's where I held my hat. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Review number 3. Beau Bridges stars as a father whose mind is being destroyed by the realistic, addictive gameplay of the Nintendo Entertainment System.
That is the one thing for this propaganda machine that doesn't actually look good. He's like,
that doesn't work.
He desperately needs to find his kids could be dead, but he's like, I got to play me some Nintendo. I got to play Simon's Quest and Ninja Turtles.
I've got the, what does he say? He's like, I've got the flute and I've got the thing for the princess. Like he's just sputtering nonsense.
I don't remember, but I think that's Simon's Quest.
Yeah,
Zelda
I don't.
too.
Yeah, but he's just sputtering nonsense, and he looks like a crazed. He looks like a crazed moron. All right, like he looks like he's high on something because he's been up all night playing the Nintendo Entertainment System.
And one of the most frustrating games of all time, the original TMNT. Oh,
that one is tough. That one's a very tough game.
I still haven't beaten it as an adult, and I'll bring up one of those because like my Wii still works, and like that had that one of the first virtual arcade things. So I have it on my Wii that still works. I'll bring up on like YouTube one of those like mastery walkthroughs, and I still can't do it.
You're like, it's not possible. It's
like
too hard.
Yeah.
That was the thing though. Those games back in the day, there was no save option.
No.
You had to just get through it, or you had to like leave your TV. Like I always turned my TV off, but left the system on.
Oh yeah. That's a smart move. Yeah, if you didn't have Nintendo Power or that one friend that knew a guy who knew a guy that had Nintendo Power and knew like the workaround.
Yeah.
Like I always knew as a kid on the first castle and World 1 of Super Mario Brothers 3 that if you crushed the one skeleton turtle and you went to the end and you flew up off screen and you jumped enough, you could get the first flute. I only knew that because somebody else knew that.
Yep.
And it was like we didn't have the internet back then, it's just you knew that because a friend knew it,
You had your socializing. That was it. You socialized. All right, let's get to our last review of the episode. The reality of this movie is so dangerous. At one point, 3 little kids get robbed by adults and left alone by the side of the road in the desert over $17.
It's like Mel Gibson. Give me back my $18. Second South Park reference. Yeah.
Yes. Give me back my $18. You gotta do the face. You gotta have the face there. Yeah, as I said, if this was any other movie or if this was in reality, those kids would be fucking dead.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to say it, you're not surviving in the desert. You're not surviving with people who are clearly out to rob you, even though you're doing like a video game version of The Hustler where you're hustling, middle-aged men out of their hard-earned money. Which, by the way, they would have clearly just been like, give me my money back. I'm not paying you anything. You're a kid by yourself.
Yeah, or they wouldn't give money
parents.
at all. They just would have pushed the kids to the ground.
Yeah, they just would push a kid to the ground.
Farted as they walked by. Hey, kid.
Yeah, that's what I think of your money.
Yeah.
So it's very unrealistic, and those kids would have totally been dead.
I want to see a version of this movie where they meet Neil Breen.
Oh God. He'd be in Reno too. Like that's where he would be.
Oh yeah.
He lives in Las Vegas. I mean, I know they're in the same state, and I know it's probably not 100% close, but like probably like a hop, skip, and a jump for him.
Oh, the biggest little city. Yep.
Yeah. Well, that is The Wizard, and that is the end of Video Game Month, John. Final thoughts?
There has never been a good video game ever.
Damn fucking right. I think Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, the first one, are the only ones that you get enjoyment out of. I'm not saying that they're good. I'm saying that you get enjoyment out of.
There were yeah, and there were a few others that we've either done or talked about, like,
Yeah.
if you go way, way, way back to our Simpsons season 1, you'll find our review of, Super
Super
Mario
Mario Brother.
Brothers.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about, like, Prince of Persia, we talked
We
about
didn't talk about Prince of Persia.
no, I mean, we flirted with doing it.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
And I was thinking like, oh, there's Doom, there's, and there's like the Minecraft movie that came out, but I'm like, at least I know things about Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. I don't know nothing about Minecraft. It's
I don't know either.
outside of my generation. But yeah, it's just my God, it's just so difficult to adapt these these properties. And it makes me think when they wanted to make a Beavis and Butthead movie, the studio talked to Mike Judge and said, "What do you think about Chris Farley and David Spade?" And he said, "For what?" And they said, "For Beavis and Butthead." And he went, "It's a cartoon." They went, "Yeah, yeah, but it's a major motion picture, so it's got to be live action." He went, "No, it doesn't. We could just make the show into a movie." And I think a lot of people had that mindset because the reason I bring this up is, well, you can't make a Super Mario Brothers movie and have it be animated like similar to how the game looks. No, it has to be. You got to get Bob Hawkins and John Leguizamo, and there's got to be a live action adaptation because that's how you bring the game to life. You know, so I do think this one is interesting because this is a movie about being a video game fan. I guess is
Yeah.
how you would describe it. And again, 5-year-old me was hooked, and I
Oh
thought
yeah.
this was one of the best movies of all time. Now, as an adult, I just realized that I was a shill for a corporation. Uh,
I mean, I think you know what it is? I think this even though I said that I don't think the people who made this movie had ever talked to a kid who played video games at that time. Okay. Like I don't think they ever talked to anybody. I totally see this as a slice of that time period. You know, it absolutely is a commercial. I don't care what anyone else says. It's a commercial for Nintendo, but it's also just kind of a time capsule of a moment in time when Nintendo really did.
Rule the earth.
It totally did. Like it's hard for people who are younger to really understand the fact that there was a time when video games were really arcade or at home, and at home was just Nintendo Entertainment System. That was it. You didn't have Xbox or PlayStation. You didn't even have Genesis at that time. It wasn't a thing until like 92 or 91. So like this is a time capsule of a film of this time period of 1989, but also of this moment when Nintendo did kind of have a mark on everything, you know?
And the thing is, I understand why the filmmakers didn't even think that they had to look anything into this. Because if you look at news stories at the time, like Dateline 2020, or even local broadcasts, they talk about it like it's the most confusing thing. They're like, Nintendo, the kids love it. It's taking over. We
Mhm.
talked to little Bradley and little Cindy. There's never any adult person that enjoys playing video games. Like it's
Even though
entirely
they did.
different. Yeah,
Even though they did.
absolutely. But, one thing that was brilliant about Nintendo was after the video game crash, because there were so many different consoles out there and just the market was polluted, was that video games used to be sold in the electronics department.
Mhm.
Nintendo waited a couple years and they sold the Nintendo in the toy department.
Yep.
And they thought back then, stupidly, you had to pick male or female. So the games were the Nintendo was centrally focused on boys. My sister liked Nintendo, so it wasn't just that only
Yep.
boys did, but that was where their marketing campaign was. And in Japan, it was top down, where you put the cartridge in the top like you did with Sega Genesis. Nintendo realized, okay, that's how like a lot of stuff worked before. We need for the American audience for the Nintendo to look like a VCR because
Yep.
that's what Americans love. So you put in the game like it was a VHS tape into there, and the rest is history. And in terms of the arcades, it used to be that if you played like Galaga at the arcade, and then you bought it for like the Atari, it didn't look at it like it at all
Yeah.
because it couldn't match the giant arcade unit. Nintendo purposely put things like Super Mario Brothers in arcades with the same chips that the video game had, so that if you played it in the arcade and you played it at home, you went, it looks just like the arcade. But
Yep.
they did that purposely. They were tricking you,
They were tricking you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's the whole history of video games at that time period is so fascinating. And I think it's really lost on modern audiences. I think the younger people don't really understand that there was a time when like these sort of things, like, just the concept of, well, we have to design the game console to look like something that people already have. Like, and how does that operate? Oh, it operates like a VHS tape. Okay, let's make it look like that. Or just the idea that, yeah, people go to the arcades, play video games. Let's not make them look too good. Like, don't make them look too good, because then they'll be disappointed when they get the home version. But that's the sort of shit that happened there. Another movie that we did not talk about, and if we ever do a part 2 of video game movies,
There's enough to talk about. Yeah. What?
there is a movie that I definitely want to cover eventually called Tetris, which is a more recent one. John, did you see it?
No, I'm aware of it. But now that you mention that, I'm like, now that when we're done recording, I want to watch it.
It's actually really good, and it kind of dips into this history of video games at this time period and kind of the rise of Tetris. But it kind of gives you a peek of the history of video games, especially over this time period. But that is for another day. With it said, John, where can they find you at on the internet?
You can find me at Sega. Oh, no, sorry. Nintendo just cut off our broadcast. No, you can find me over at Instagram and Facebook. And I am wrapping up slowly here my So Many Questions on Ghostbusters. I threw a thing out there on the internet, just on Facebook, but for our Discord and everybody else with the Cinema Cycle Show, if you're so inclined, because it won't take much, I put out the question, do enough people remember the movie The Skeleton Key for there to be a check-in for J-Dub's Video Nasties? Because I'm worried that maybe that movie was kind of like forgotten in the heap pile of 2005. So if you feel like letting me know if you would want to hear a check-in on the movie The Skeleton Key, hit us up. Let us know.
I say yes. I say yes to The Skeleton Key.
Most people do. I'm surprised as many people remember that movie as they do.
No, I liked it back when it premiered. I think I saw it on HBO when it made its cable debut. But I liked it. I thought it was pretty decent. With that said, if you have loved this episode and you love Video Game Month, do me a favor and share this episode with your friends, with your family, with your favorite gamer. That helps us out a lot. Of course, if you are really into helping us out, you can follow us on your favorite podcast platform of choice. You can click the little buttons down right there. Go to cinemacycleshow.com/follow. And again, if you've got buttons, you just press one and boom, you're following us on your favorite podcast platform of choice. On top of that, if you are watching us here on YouTube, hey, thank you so much for doing that. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the bell for notifications. Those things do help us out a ton. The algorithm really only likes it if you interact. So doing those things are the bare minimum to help. Leave us a comment. What did you think of The Wizard? Did you grow up in the 80s playing video games like this? What were your thoughts? Let us know, and we might read them on the air. That might be a thing we do. With that said, we will see you next time.
Sega does what Nintendo don't.